And with me here, Hasmat Ali, the Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Archery Federation. It's a pleasure. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. It's
Um,
a pleasure being here.
right, we're here this morning for the Southern Bowtech annual event that is always, well attended. But before we get into today's proceedings, tell me a bit about archery in 2019. What are some of the successes that you all had gathered over the last year and some of the disappointments?
All right, so the Trinidad and Tobago Target Archery Federation in 2019 was able to accomplish its proposed task and its calendar in having all the national events that we would have proposed to have. We had a very successful indoor championship, which was in February, early in the year. And then we proceeded to have a number of what we call national ranking events throughout the year. And of course, our huge event, our national outdoor and indoor championship, which was in August. We also had a number of the clubs who participated and had their own club events, and those were quite successful. And we had a number of the clubs in Trinidad and Tobago participated in those events. But I think for 2019, one of our major accomplishments was having an archer in the Pan Am Games. It was history breaking for Trinidad and Tobago, where we were able to have one archer, Mr. Danny Ragbri Caterers, enter the Pan Am Games. In fact, he qualified the year prior to, and I was able to participate in 2019. In terms of non-successes, of course, like every other sport, the Trinidad and Tobago Target Archery Federation can do a lot more. So we are actually looking forward to 2020 in having more collaborations with the government, more collaborations with private sector, so we can take the sport forward as we move forward into this new decade.
What would you say is the major, setback or disadvantage that you all face in the sport?
Like with all sports, sports in Trinidad and Tobago, when you look at the way the NSOs run the sports, a lot of the sports are really recreational, after work, after school activities. We would love to see sport integrated, really integrated into youth development and be part of that daily activity, and probably be an avenue where people could start looking at becoming professionals on local soil. A lot of sportsmen, when we look at where they've been able to achieve, and their standards and get up to the real international competitive level, they have to go abroad, and spend time and effort abroad to do that. I think in Trinidad and Tobago we have the capacity across all sports to be able to develop our sportsmen and women, and do it in a structured framework in collaboration with the government, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs.
The archery doesn't have a permanent home.
Correct, that's correct.
Right.
We don't
Would
have
you
a
all
permanent
say
home.
that is one of the major, if I should use the word, hindrance in taking the sport further? You all don't have a permanent home, and you have to use, for instance, if we look at here, this is a makeshift venue, right? And it's well attended. So, in terms of acquiring a permanent home for the sport, have you all entertained that at any level?
Well, with all the clubs that we have in Trinidad, we really utilize either private holdings or recreational grounds to have the sport. And you're quite right. Archery really needs to have its own and have its own home, because when you look at what the sport can offer in terms of outdoor archery, indoor archery, field events, you really need a proper structure and establishment for doing that. And yes, it's really a hindrance when you really don't have your own home, because you actually play by the grace of the others who use the public facilities. And having a permanent home would also encourage us and have us run programs that are more, holistic. It's more structured in that we have programs that can be run during the day, have coaches on board that could be present at the facility that could assist archers throughout the day, and not just on a weekend or on an evening when you have the time to do it.
Now, you said one of your archers qualified for the Pan American Games in 2019. How do you all, the association, the clubs, and the archers, how do you all plan to build on that success and even look a step further than the Pan Am, even to the Olympics?
Right. So the clubs have been working. We have a number of national coaches in all the clubs. And, they've been working, we've been carrying out the programs to develop archers. In fact, the Trinidad and Tobago Target Archery Federation has developed a grading system for our archers locally, where archers, persons coming off the street, can get into a program, and there's a structured pathway that could take them all the way up to the international level. And like I said, all the way up to the Pan Am Games and even the Olympics. In Mr. Carter's, in his success, he really spent the time, effort, and even money to get him to where he went. A lot of his training was done locally. A lot of the training actually was done on time off, So again, when we get back to the structure of having a facility and having it available for archers to, continue their training after work, into the evening, during the day, it really lends to the development. When you meet for a short time with an archer, and like in most sports, you have a couple hours to work with them. They leave, they come back, and when you look at that time frame for development, it's very short on a daily basis and by the hour. If you have more hours during the day to train, you have a better opportunity to increase the chances of moving forward and really developing yourselves and developing the sport on a whole.
Now, you said something there earlier. The sport it's a bit expensive, right? Because these equipments look pretty expensive. So it might be a little, hard for the average person to get into the sports. Whereas if you all have your permanent home, you can have the equipment there that you can come in and use and practice, and out of that, get a couple outstanding archers. But when you look at our standard here in comparison to outside, what level are we actually on in Trinidad and Tobago?
Fact, Trinidad and Tobago is not very bad when we look at it in terms of development, right? We've been able to put together programs, and we've learned a lot by going to countries who have programs to move their archers forward, right? One of the successes in some of the other countries, like if we look at Colombia, which has been quite successful in the World Cup and successful internationally with the archers, they've actually taken the sport to another level. They have archers who train every day. That's their job. They come out to a center or to a facility. They have set programs. If they are student archers or student athletes, they have grade point averages to meet in their secular education, and then there are also scores to be met to keep them into that scholarship program. So it's a well thought of plan, and I think that is one of our drawbacks here. Our system does not lend to a facility like that or a system like that. And it's something that we probably need to look at, and in collaboration with the powers that be, try to get something similar to. And not only for archery, but if we are serious about having sport as a profession across all sports, and see how we could take, just like we have technical vocational facilities, we have sport training facilities where athletes could be trained to become professional in their field and be able to represent Trinidad and Tobago, right? When it comes to our standing, we have been able to expose most of our coaches to international standards. So we know what it takes to get the athlete up there. But like I said, one of the drawbacks is actually spending that time and effort and having the hours to work with the athletes to get them to that level.
Okay, before we wrap, how do you see 2020 for the sport?
2020 is promising. It's the year of the Olympics. We have some of our athletes going across to the Pan Am Championships in Mexico to try and qualify. It's the last qualifier before the Olympics. So they are preparing currently to go across there and compete with for some spots that are still available in the archery component of the Olympics. But notwithstanding that, Trinidad and Tobago will be host to the South Caribbean Archery Championship. It's a tournament that was developed many years ago between Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the French territories, being Martinique, French Guiana, and Guadeloupe. currently we have a lot more countries who are now involved, English-speaking Caribbean countries who are more involved in archery. So we have Guyana, we have St. Kitts Nevis, the British Virgin Islands, etc. And we will be hosting the event here in Trinidad. It's a 4-day event over Easter weekend. And it's actually four tournaments. The venue will be at Chaguaramas, Tucker Valley, where the Federation has its field. And we are hoping to have all the countries participate. So it's a nice event. This year it's a you know, it's one of, if you want to call it, a pioneering event, because we're going to have all these new countries involved, and it's a tournament where we have a different archery competition every day. We have indoor tournaments, we have outdoor events, we have the field events. So persons coming to see the tournament will actually be experiencing what archery in its entirety has to offer as a competitive sport.
Well, again, let me say it was a pleasure chatting with you. Let me wish you a great success this year. And we look forward to one day soon having one of our archers take part in the Olympics. And I think that will crown the success of the archery, the sport of archery. So again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure having you with you.
In third place, Southern Bowtech Archery Club, Candice Johnson. In second place, Tobago Precision Archery Club, CL Clark. And in first place, Recurve Benjamin Women, Southern Bowtech Archery Club, Abigail Patrajo.
Okay, joining me here is Selvin Jagasa, the president of the Southern Bowtech Archery Club. And again, it's a pleasure, Selvin. Let me wish you and your club and organization Happy New Year and all the best for 2020. Let's go back a bit to 2019. What type of year it was for the Southern Bowtech Archery Club?
Oh, it was a very successful year for us, where we actually had a lot of athletes joining the club, a lot of new clubs opening up. We're out on the field as well in a lot of schools, and today what we have happening today, so a lot of archers from schools are taking part in today's tournament. It's our 11th annual 18-meter outdoor archery tournament, and so far it's a great success.
Now, I'm seeing a lot of young people. But I'm also seeing some adults. So, is the tournament today strictly for the young people, or it's a mix?
Oh, the tournament is for a lot of the clubs. It's a mixed tournament for both young and old, and we have two categories going on right now. One is the younger people, and just in a bit we'll be starting to shoot the older ones, and the higher categories like the juniors and seniors and masters coming on in a bit. But what I want to say though, we are very proud today, this year, to have 8 clubs taking part in our tournament today. 8 clubs. We have Tobago Precision Archery Club for the very first time coming in to participate in the tournament, and we are very, very happy for having them in our tournament this year.
Now, each year I come here to witness this tournament. It always seems to be a great success. But sometimes, you know, we have challenges that you don't see, that the public don't see, right? What are some of the challenges that you face to put on a tournament year in, year out here?
Well, George, you know where I'm coming with. One is money, finance, sponsorship. And this year, what we had a lot of people coming forward, especially from the club, and giving and giving and giving. And to run a tournament, George, you're looking at approximately $8,000 to run a tournament. And people give bountifully. to the tournament, that's one of the great challenges that we have. But God is good, and we continue to move forward.
What plans do you have for 2020 to take the club further than it is already?
Well, this is one of our tournaments that we are having today, which is the 80-meter outdoor archery tournament. We move straight into the national tournament, which will be coming up shortly, and then we go to other different tournaments, qualifiers. Some of the athletes are preparing themselves to go to the South Caribbean Championship. What we have this year is Southern Caribbean Championship right in Trinidad and Tobago, and also we have the SCC in Trinidad as well. So those are some of the tournaments we are preparing ourselves. We are training very hard and moving forward with that.
Mr. Will, it was indeed a pleasure, and I know for a fact that you always do your best, because I've been covering this tournament for a while now, and it always seems to attract a lot of members. And what I like about it is the amount of young people we see in the sport today. And we need something to occupy young people, especially with what's going on in our country today.
Yes, definitely, because this occupies a lot of the young people, and you're quite right, George. And I must say that it keeps them away from the streets. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you very much, and all the best for 2020.
And same to you, George, and thank you very much, and all the best for 2020.
Yeah, thanks.
Third place, team comprising of Joshua Ragbir, Andrea Mohes, and Vishan Das in third place. In second place, team comprising Matthew Sanilal, Shafiq Mohammed, and Aaron Mahabir in second place, NTAC. And in first place, team comprising Vishesh Singh, Kyle Bridge, and Parasan Ramsumir, Southern Bowtech Archery Club.
Okay, I have with me Patrick Welch. Patrick is a member of the Tobago Precision Archery Club. First of all, welcome to Trinidad. Welcome to Trinidad, actually.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Now, you are here for the first time taking part in the Southern Bowtech competition today. But before we go into that, tell me a bit about archery in Tobago, because I've been to Tobago many times, and I've really never, come across, hearing about the sport. So tell me about it in Tobago.
Okay, so as you say, my name is Patrick Welch. I am the president of the Tobago Precision Archery Club, and the sport in Tobago has truly grown and started to thrive over the last couple of years. So at this time, we're trying to get our archers exposure and more open to the different competitions, events within Trinidad and Tobago and the region. So that's why we're very happy to be here with Southern Bowtech and participating in today's event.
How big is the sport in Tobago? Like in numbers, if you can give me a figure.
Well, at this time in Tobago, we have several schools involved in the sport, so I don't have an exact figure,
right.
But we have both secondary and primary schools involved, and also those adults I would be interested in. So it's something that I would say has been growing exponentially, and there's a lot more room for growth and support from both private and government sectors, but it's something that we are willing to invest our time and effort into growing with the archery community.
What about competition-wise? How many competitions you will have for the year?
Competition-wise, Tobago has 2 official events, one in July, Invitational Archery Tournament, and our Q and Shoot Archery Tournament, which is held in September every year. And we have received great support from the archery community in Trinidad, and we're hoping that this year we'll have a nice expansion of those events on the island.
What would you like people to know about the sport of archery? Because first thing you tell people, they say, boy, the equipment is expensive. Is that one of the areas where you find that it deters people from coming into the sport?
Most people use the excuse of the equipment price as a barrier. But in fact, the equipment is expensive, but most club programs will actually provide you with equipment until you're able to afford to purchase equipment, and they'll also guide you. What I would like people to know about the sport is that, well, we have the sport in Tobago, normally when I meet new people, they always ask me, wait, it has that sport in Tobago? So
Yeah, but that,
it's
I'm saying,
one of-
I mean, I've been to Tobago on many occasions covering other sports, but never really heard about. And where you are located?
adjacent to the Dwight York Stadium in
Okay,
Tobago.
okay.
So as we say, archery is one of the best kept secrets in Tobago, so I want to get the word out there, let people know that we have the club there. For the youths, they have the option of the school programs. Adults can come to the club and do an archery beginners program and get into the sport and see whether they like it and want to expand and go forward with it. Also, it's a very interesting sport in terms of persons that want to build discipline, goal setting, and to develop focus. So it's something that it really branches off into other areas of your life to help you develop as a person also.
Okay, your team that is here with you today, how many are you all?
We have 4 of our archers here with us today, 1 compound and 3 recurve archers. And we really hope to be taking back some of the trophies and medals today, so we're looking forward to see their results.
And would you be taking part?
No, today I will not be taking part. I'm here only as a coach to help supervise and guide the persons that we have today in to achieve their goals.
But you are active in the sport?
Yes, I am. I'm also a national judge, so I actually, besides coaching, I work a lot when we have tournaments and competitions and so on. So I'm normally on the front lines in that regard.
Okay, so this is your first time here at this tournament?
Yes, that's correct.
What is your impression so far?
I was impressed with the turnout and the welcomeness of the club members and everyone here, and I really look forward to being here again next year.
Well, let me wish you all the best. I hope your athletes do take back a couple of the trophies, and I am going to, on my next visit to Tobago, I will pay you a visit to see what's happening with the sport of archery in Tobago. So again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Okay, so excellent. Thank you for having us, and of course, we welcome you to visit us at any time.
Okay, thanks.
Winning the challenge trophies today went to Southern Bowtech Archery Club.
Okay, with me here is Antoinette Lewis, member of the Tobago Precision Archery Club. Welcome to Trinidad. Tell me a bit about your involvement in the sport of archery. How long have you been in the sport? And some of the successes that you have gathered over your short time in the sport.
All right, so hi, good everyone. I've been doing archery for about 5 years now. I started since I was in primary school. And some of the achievements I have achieved during this time, I've placed 3rd place in National Indoors 2018, and I'm trying to place 1st for this one.
What are some of the goals you have set for yourself in the sport? How far do you want to go in archery?
Well, I want to go to the Olympic stage in archery, so I'm trying my best to put in the hard work, the dedication that is needed to reach that.
Take me through your training routine. What is it like for you on a daily basis?
Okay, so I wake up in the morning, I do the usual, brush my teeth, get ready. Then I would go downstairs, I'll start my exercises. The few arm exercises, the legs, so I could have my flexibility on. Just to make sure I don't sprain myself during my activities. And at my breakfast, we start off with a little cereal, and then I might have a little banana, apple after. And then I would, if it's a Saturday, I'll head to training right after. If it's school, I go to school.
Now, archery is not a big sport in Tobago right now, right? But when I spoke to the president earlier, he said that they are more into schools and things like that. What would you like to see happen with the sport in Tobago?
And of course, I just see it explode. Like, many people start joining it, like coming into, so you have more people coming down to Trinidad to partake in the nationals, of course, because I saw many improvements in my academic life, in my health and my fitness as well, so I think they should join.
And this is the first time you're here at the Southern Bowtech?
Yeah, this is the first time I've come to the tournament.
What's your impression so far?
So far, I've seen a difference in them, because like we don't usually start off like how they start off, so I saw something new, and I like it.
Okay. Anything you would like to say to people of Trinidad before I wrap this interview?
So I believe that you guys should try archery because it's a great sport and it will improve everything. Your fitness, your mindset, everything.